Good morning, YouTube family. Today is March 21st, the day after the Central Division THSBA tournament on Lake Tawakoni, about 30 to 35 miles outside of Rockwall, Texas, on the east side. It was a really interesting tournament, some really tough pre-fishing days until we were able to figure it out. And this one was a big one. Landon needed to place 18th or higher in this tournament in order to secure Angler of the Year. And that was if the guys that were in second place won the tournament, which we actually anticipated that they would do. They ended up placing second, but thankfully, Landon was able to secure this thing by landing fourth place out of 176 boats, fishing by himself again. With his partner having a broken leg. So we're going to break this thing down for you, tell you how we approach things in pre-fishing, what worked for us in the tournament, and at the end, I'll break down the video of the actual tournament results itself, our weigh in situation, all that good stuff. So stick around. I've got some great stuff for you.
All right, so as I mentioned, we were fishing Lake Tawakoni, which is just a little bit east, about 30 miles east of Lake Ray Hubbard. So it's right over here. And as we were pre-fishing the lake, some of the things that we noticed, we started off fishing the northern side because we thought that would be the best side to fish. So we found, 60, 62, 63. I think we may even saw all the way up to 64-degree water up here on the north side. And we thought that that would be where we needed to focus our attention. So we spent a ton of time up here in all of these areas, just really flipping bushes and things like that, and just trying to figure out if we could figure out the bite. And we weren't having any success at all. So what we ended up doing is we said, all right, next weekend, what we're going to do, and this would have been the weekend before the tournament, we're going to focus more on the southern side and see if we can put something together down there. So we fished this entire side of the lake, pretty much, anything that looked promising, secondary points, brush, all that stuff, flipping, spinner baits, all the stuff that you can think of. We even went down to the dam and tried some crankbaits. We just weren't having much luck. In fact, I tried to do a video a couple times, and we just didn't catch enough fish. I think we were only catching like 2 or 3 fish every time we were going out. So we weren't catching enough fish to even make a video worthwhile. So it was a little bit scary going into this tournament because we really didn't have much going on. But luckily, the night before the tournament, you have to be off the water by 6 o'clock. So I told Landon, I said, we're lines out at 5:30. So let's make sure that we're out by 5:30 and that we see if we can find something throughout the day. So we woke up super early in the morning. We got out there right at 7 o'clock, started fishing, and really didn't find anything the entire day. I mean, we ran up and down the lake and we found a couple different spots. So we kind of knew, what we wanted to do. We shook off a few here and there. So we were getting a few bites, but not enough to really say, this is where we want to really focus a lot of our attention on, or this would be, one of the 4 or 5 places that we picked out for the tournament. In fact, we even ran all the way up to the river, way up here, to see if we could find some fish up in here. And the river was actually a really good temperature. I think we even got up to like 66 up in there. But the problem was it was really, really chocolatey, and there just wasn't a lot of life up there. So we never even got a bite up there. We spent half a day up there on Friday and didn't get any bites at all. So after then, we run all the way back down and we start fishing more the southern half of the lake. We actually had kind of tossed out the idea of flipping because we couldn't get the flipping bite to come on, and so we were actually going to go back and pull back and focus on some rocks and things like that. And that pattern just wasn't really there either. We just weren't getting a lot of bites, and we tried all of our areas that we knew were good on Coney, but or we call it Coney, which is Tawakoni. We knew all of the areas that were good on Coney, but we just couldn't put anything together. And so at about 4:30 or so, we were like, let's make one more run up to the north side and let's just see if maybe that flipping bite has came back on throughout the week. And so we go up there, and really what we're focused on is just any kind of stick-ups that we could find that were out there. And one thing that I really noticed is that we had gotten a few bites, but it wasn't deep inside the coves. It was more out here on the outer edges, like around the points. So they were points inside of the creek channels. I guess you call them secondary points or however you want to call them. But all of these points that were in here, they all had, not all of them, but a lot of them have stick ups and brush that's out here. just off the edges of the points, and you would get the bites right on the edges of the points, not on the front of the point, but the edges of them, so the sides of them. And so if you could just focus on just those sides of those points, you would start to get bites. So anyways, we started to roll up there, and we had maybe 30 minutes left. Still hadn't really found anything, but we thought we might be on to something. We roll into our first spot up there, or one of our last spots to check, and lo and behold, I think I caught one on accident. I wasn't trying to catch him. I tried to shake him off. I caught him. We went down the bank line a little bit more. I shook off four more, so we basically had five bites in that one little stretch. And we were like, man, we were on to something. So we locked into that spot, and we said, okay, we're going to focus here first thing in the morning. This will be our first stop. If we can get the flipping bite going, we're going to stay up here in the northern end. But if we can't get the flipping bite going, we'll bail out. We'll go to the south end. We may try some flipping down there or something different, but we'll basically throw the northern end out. But because of those bites that we got on Friday night, we chose to start on the northern end in the morning. So as we go through there, let me kind of break it down for you. I'll kind of show you the bank lines and things like that. So I'm going to switch over, go back to the recording for the desktop, and let's jump into that, and let's talk about what we're really looking for as far as those stick-ups. All right, so let's talk about really what I'm talking about in regards to stick-ups. So I took an image here of Google Earth, and this are just all the different marks that I found on Google Earth of stick-ups. So it's basically just brush or buck brush that's off the bank just a little bit. So we're actually catching these fish up in 4 or 5 inches of water, believe it or not, but we're catching them in this buck brush. So it's very important to go out, mark all those different buck brush areas that you can find that are around those points, just coming off those points, and those are going to be your key areas. The other thing that you want to focus on is shady areas. So as the sun's coming up, and the sun's going down, focus on those stick-ups that are in the shade or will provide some type of shade for those fish. That was key as well. The other thing that was key is make sure that you're using a heavy enough weight. We actually had a time when we were in practice, Landon and I were throwing the same exact thing, but I was throwing a 3/8 ounce weight. He was throwing a 1/8 ounce weight. I was catching fish right behind him using the same exact thing. He just wasn't using a heavy enough weight. So when we made the adjustment on tournament day to flip with a heavier weight, that's when things really started to come together. So really just breaking down everything else for you, the bait that we used that was really, really helpful was called a rage bug. So you'll see it here on the screen. We rigged that up with the Texas rig style. We pegged it and really put it on, I think it was a 3/0 EWG hook. And from that point forward, 20 pound fluorocarbon that we use as well. And, Landon just basically flipped every single bush that you can think of as we went through that tournament looking for those stick-ups, finding those areas. And once we found a couple of areas that were good, we basically just stuck to those areas and beat them to death all day long until we got the fish that we needed. So let's jump into this thing and let's see how this whole tournament ended. Let's take a look at the bag that we had and all that good stuff. So here we go.
One. Jason didn't come. We're missing you, Jason. Number 2. Number 4. It's 3.5, 4 easy.
Nice.
All right, let's go weigh him.
Team, it's been interesting the last couple of weeks with this AOY race with the other divisions. First place team, boat 160 from Rockwall, Jackson and Landon, and they are coming in today with 5. Come on, bud. Woo! See if they're gonna hold that AOY lead. Might take stringer lead. You need 16:22. See what you got.
Not 16.
Oh, you got close. 14:59, man. That's going to put you up there. Might hold on to that AOY lead. There you go. You want to weigh a big one? Nope. All right. Congrats, dude. Good job.
All right, so unfortunately the board was down, but Landon ended up tying for fourth place at 14:59. The winners took the bag at 16.5 something, I believe, and second place came in at 15. The great thing is that all of the second place and the fourth place team, which was Landon, both of those were from Rockwall. The second place team actually had placed second place in 3 tournaments throughout the divisional series that we had. So just an unbelievable team. It was unbelievable that Landon was able to to knock them off right here at the end. It was the Cedar Creek tournament that did it for them. But lots of respect to those guys. They are an unbelievable team, and they're going to have tons of success in college. And so to top all of this off, these group of individuals that you see here, these young men, they actually took Team of the Year here with their third or maybe even fourth win. I can't even remember, but they have dominated the Central Division throughout the year, placing in the top 10 several different times, and now heading into regionals being the Team of the Year. So congratulations to all of them, Team Rockwall, and congratulations to Landon for Angler of the Year. Just very, very impressive. Jackson as well, Landon's teammate that you don't see here with him. Congratulations to you as well. You were a big part of this, and we just appreciate all of you guys being part of this. This thing has been tons of fun. Let's go win some big stuff in regionals and take this thing on to state. So to all of you subscribers out there, thank you for sticking around with us. Hopefully you got some good information for us. And as always, thank you for supporting us. Take care.